Ladies and gentle wizards, it's the guide you've all been waiting for, Solo Wizard Ice Abyss!
Going down.
In this video, you'll learn how to clear every module of the newest lower level map in High Roller, and you'll quickly see it for the loot printing machine that it is. As long as you're rocking the Meditate skill with magic missiles and the Spell Overload perk, you can really use any decently powerful wizard kit you like. My setup was very similar to this during the time I recorded this gameplay. That's what I've been using for solo PvP as well. I've really taken a liking to Ice Bolt with Ice Mastery lately because it lets me poke at the abundance of Warlocks from outside their curse range, and it stops W keyers in their tracks, so I can keep spacing and put them in a repeating cycle of damaging and freezing them. There are 9 modules in Ice Abyss, but since the center module houses the Wyvern boss, and in High Roller it isn't really possible to kill that on Solo Wizard, we'll only be focusing on the remaining 8 modules. Just like in my first day Solo Wizard guide in Goblin Caves, I've numbered the modules and split the rest of the video up into chapters accordingly to help you find the guidance you need as easily as possible. Now hold on to your wizard hats, because we're jumping right into module number 1. As you could expect, I'll be using magic missiles for the vast majority of the mob clearing. I like to wake skellies up with a volley of magic missiles to deal a ton of damage before they're even fully upright, and then more missiles or ice bolts to finish them off. I'm far enough from the sentinel that I'm out of its attack range, so I can just missile spam it to death without any worry at all. Another small perk of Ice Mastery is it gives you more time to kill mobs before they get to you, allowing you to have another strong PvE spell other than just missiles. I've found that this lever can randomly spawn behind any chest in this room, so if it's not behind this chest, just keep looking around. You can clear this whole pit area from the safety of this ledge, and then grab this third special chest in the middle. This is usually just an oak or reinforced chest, but occasionally it will be a lion's head like this. Since I've looted all the best chests and there are no extractions here, I'm gonna head to the next module. I do leave 1 or 2 mobs uncleared, but for the sake of limited time in each run, we don't want to waste precious seconds we could be spending getting to the next loot hotspot. In Module 2, I find it's best to clear around the outer perimeter first because most of the mobs in the center will require at least some kiting room, and the last thing we want to do is accidentally pull more than 1 mob at a time because that's the quickest path to a frustrating death. Just like before, we can spam missiles at the sentinel from outside of its attack range to easily take it out. Since the Nightmare shield skeletons reflect damage back to you off of their shields, I recommend using a single Ice Bolt or Zap to wake them up, and then some Zaps to weaken them before meleeing them to death. If you try magic missiles on them and your aim is off by even just a smidge, you could very easily be dead before you even realize what happened. If you have the opportunity to take out these harpies that wander around the center area of the map, I recommend doing it while you have clear space and a lot of distance to work with, because they can hop over the walls and sneak up on you while you're already dealing with other mobs. We're going to start clearing the center with this Frost Imp. I pull it to me with ice bolts, and then I'll lay it out with magic missiles once it's closer. When a Nightmare Shield Skeleton does this vertical downward slash, that indicates that a quick follow-up attack is coming. Any other type of attack has no immediate follow-up. I'm going to take out this hidden harpy before I continue clearing, because if it aggroes me while I'm busy pulling these tricky mobs, it could quickly be the end of me. Since the mace skellies are on high ground here, I'm usually able to get enough magic missiles in under their shields to kill them before it becomes a melee fight. I come up a little short here, so I just bait his swing with a big backstep and then go in for the headshot. Now that the module is fully clear, I'm going to loot up and then keep moving. The portals here will open later into the game. Quick note, you might notice levers on the wall in this module. Those levers open up holes and tunnels in the floor that lead to literally nothing other than spiders and wall spikes. Until some new intel comes out, it's a red herring and a waste of time. Similar to the previous module, I'm going to clear the outer perimeter first and then work my way into the center. I accidentally pulled 2 mobs at once, but I have plenty of space to back up and keep missiling. I'm definitely going to clear all the way around this ring before fighting this Wendigo, since I'll need some extra space for that. Sometimes these spiders bug out on the first hit, but the next hit will set them straight. This Wendigo rehomes to its spawn spot, so to use the aggro invis strat on him, you need to get between him and his spawn. First you pull him, then invis to stop his charge, then come out of invis to make him stand still while you run to his spawn, and then you can kill him like normal. I aggroed this ghost while I was dealing with the Wendigo, which is why it's not down in the pit like normal. It's easily taken out with a simple dodge and some missiles though. I did a little experiment to see if I could avoid the sentinel aggro by hiding behind this pillar. Spoiler alert, didn't work. No biggie, I just go out of range of it like normal and spam it from safety. These translucent ice blocks around the center will crumble and drop you into the abyss if you stand on them for too long, so always just hop across them as fast as you can. That's everything for us here. On to Module 4. The death explosion from these spiders deals way more damage than you'd expect, so always make sure you dodge them if you see it winding up. Keeping with the common theme, we thin out the edges of the module first so we have adequate space to deal with the more difficult mobs in the center, one at a time. This pillar is a god spot that lets you cook any non-ranged mob from safety, including the Frost Demon. The Frost Demon uses ranged attacks, but for some reason this spot works against him and makes him way easier to deal with than kiting him for 2 minutes as you use 7 to 8 missile charges to kill him, or locking him in another room, especially since he homes back to this spawn if you invis. It's worth noting that these spiders don't continually spawn like spider mummies. There's just a set number of them that spawn down here. If you're feeling confident, you can kill these shield skellies faster with magic missiles, but you have to be very precise so you don't instantly melt yourself. A lever will spawn randomly behind one of the groups of pots in the pit, and activating that lever reveals a secret room with a Wendigo and another chest behind it. Skipping past the center, we move on to Module 6. First, I snipe this specific crossbowman, and then while I wait for him to come down the steps to me, I take care of these two melee mobs. After dispatching the crossbowman, I make my way to the ladder, invis, and then path onto this pillar, which is conveniently another god spot where we can fully clear the steps from complete safety. As far as I know, there isn't a pillar like this on the northern side of the steps, so you have to come up the southern ladder to this spot or the adjacent pillar behind me with the chest on it. I got a little worried about someone sneaking up on me for a second there, but after looking around, I head underneath the stairs to clear behind the ice wall and get this module's last special chest. Aim your fireballs at the top of the wall to prevent splashing the skellies on the ground through the wall and pulling more than one at a time. Another reason to be extra careful using magic missiles on these guys. Just one stray missile can wake up a second mob, which can easily be enough to do you in. Since we've cleared the extraction point and both chests, I'll save you guys from watching me meditate and move on to Module 7. Clearing this module is nothing new, just do your best to pull one mob at a time because there are archers in here that can delete you pretty quickly if you aren't paying attention. Another thing to note is that there are holes in the floor in the corners of the room that you can easily fall through if you aren't being careful as you kite. The trick to this room is just remaining in control and not panicking, as that would lead you to pulling multiple mobs and backing yourself off the edge. Around the room are these statues of cloaked figures, and only one of them, chosen at random, will have two hands. The second hand is a lever that when activated will lower the center pillar along with a Wendigo for you to kill. After you've killed the Wendigo, activating the lever again will send the pillar back up to where a special chest is hidden. If the statue is close to the center like mine was, you can activate the lever and easily get back on the pillar in time. If it's on a statue towards the edge of the room, you might have trouble getting on the pillar again before it's out of reach. And that's everything there is to see in Module 7. On to number 8. Keep an eye out for spiders in these dark archways. They seem to randomly spawn in different arches in the module and will absolutely make you fall out of your chair when they drop on you unexpectedly. Again, the trick here is to just pull one mob at a time. If you just run in there guns a-blazing, you will pull 4 Nightmare Shield Skellies at once, and then 10 more skeletons as you run around the module. Using explosions or fireballs, break this ice block to reveal a lever. Pulling the lever opens doors to 2 secret rooms. One has a Wendigo, and the other a special chest. That clears everything important in here. Now finally on to module number 9. This part of the module has 2 harpies and 2 imps, but as long as you stick to the rule of only pulling one at a time, you shouldn't have any trouble. Like some of the other translucent ice platforms on the map, these will crumble if stood on for too long. There are 2 ice hounds in this pit and a spider in the ceiling, so just be careful about jumping down there. Generally, it's easiest to kill all the harpies and imps first, then clear the hounds from above, and then drop to kill the spider. There's another ice hound in this room up the ladder, and there isn't much real estate to deal with him in there, so the trick is to pull its aggro, then drop back down into the pit and stand against the far wall. It'll come to the top of the ladder, and you'll be able to missile it freely. These 4 pedestals each have the chance of spawning a gem of any rarity, even royal, so it's always worth checking them. You'll see why I break this ice block momentarily. In the meantime, I just clean up these last 2 skellies from range. Guarding our final special chest is a sentinel, so we invis to the opposite side of the room, outside of his attack range, and lay him out with the good old magic missile treatment. That ice block would have blocked our line of sight, so naturally it had to be eliminated. Well, that wraps up everything you need to know to milk the most out of Ice Abyss as a solo wizard, short of countering a wyvern farmer, of course. The Ice Abyss is extremely daunting to most players, so you'll rarely ever encounter other solos down there other than AP farmers and wyvern killers, both of which usually want nothing to do with you. Once you get comfortable, with decent gear you should be able to solo clear 2 or 3 full modules per run, depending on the modules you choose. My next video will be a similar guide, but for the Inferno, so make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it or any other future guides and content. Until next time, so long friends!